What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Close the Tab, the best podcast on the planet Earth. I am your gracious host, Alex the Critic, joined here tonight by my two co hosts, Travis
Yeah, it's me.
and Spaceman.
Hello.
Oh my
No,
god.
no, fuck this guy.
That was
But
a great intro, guys. We did a good job. Anyways, first, whatever it's called, State of the Union? I think that's what it's called. What's been going on with you guys in the past 3 weeks since we last recorded an episode?
Was it getting ready for finals of college? So I'm about to head into the summer free time. Am I right?
Nice. Wait, which finals has you the most stressed out?
um, to be honest, I would say it's between
all of them.
photography and drawing, just because those two are like projects. But then when it comes to like my geo class, that's not gonna be too hard because I have like plenty of notes to use.
That's great.
Nice, we like that. We like that. Now it's my turn. Let's see here. So I've just been watching a bunch of anime, movies, and shows. Yeah. In terms of anime, my good
We're
weebs out
just gonna
there.
rename like this whole segment Travis's Anime Corner.
Yes, step into my corner.
Specifically
And-
a corner.
just a corner. You're in a timeout. I watched Yona of the Dawn. I don't know. I don't think I mentioned it before, but it's a really good anime in my opinion. Good for its time anyway, and it's really good. I'm kind of sad there wasn't a second season of it, but apparently there's like a manga, so I guess we'll check that out. I recently started watching Non Non Biori, and oh my gosh, it's so wholesome. It's really good. It's nice. I love it. It definitely, for me, it does like kind of touches that base a bit because Nanan Biori is like an anime that it focuses a bit on like the countryside living and everything. It's a slice of life anime as well, and it's really good. If you're into that stuff, go check it out. There's 3 seasons of it. It's so good. And that's it in terms of anime I can think of. Now, in terms of shows, I've recently watched Invincible. It's a really good show. Go watch it. Go check it out. It's so good. You have J. Jonah Jameson as one of the main characters, and then you have Mark Hamill in it, and then you have I forgot how to say his name, but he's essentially Glenn from The Walking Dead. He's in it as well as the main character. Yeah, it's really good. Go check it out. The season 1 actually just ended yesterday, and it was really good. It was intense. It was so good.
That's
In terms
the
of movie,
superhero show, right?
yeah, it's a superhero show. Yeah, it's good. And in terms of movies, I say movies because for some reason I was on The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings marathon. I was on the Pirates of the Caribbean marathon. I don't know why. It was just out of nowhere. And then I was thinking of like getting into like a Star Wars marathon where I watch the movies, but like and also the Clone Wars in order. Episode 1, episode 2, then the Clone Wars, then episode 3, and then so on and so forth. Obviously not the sequel trilogy because none of that. Shame on you.
Oh yeah.
That's not canon in my house.
It's not canon in my Minecraft Christian server. But yeah, that's about it for me. And recently I found out I can record things on my PC. So yeah,
He's
no
learning
longer-
the secrets of his technology.
we no longer need Spaceman as part of this cast, as I have as I have brought up in the past.
Soon I'll figure out how to turn off my firewall.
But yeah, that's about it for me.
Okay, so now we'll move on into the topic of discussion for today.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
What
we're
about you?
missing you!
What about you? What about
I
you?
don't know what you guys are talking about.
You can't. You
Um,
can't weasel your way out of this, Alex the Critic.
Uh,
If that's your real name,
Dun dun
Dun,
dun.
dun, don't let them find out.
don't let the truth die out.
Nothing has really happened with me recently. This would be the point where Travis comedically interrupts me and says, "So, guys, let's move on."
See, joke's on you. I'm going to do the opposite of that. Guys, let's delve into this.
Everything that's happened so far has mainly been related to my YouTube channel, and it's really not all that interesting because we've kind of already covered what I uploaded a couple weeks ago, the Carson video, which I'm happy to say has now passed 1,000 views. It's
Ooh,
yeah, it's now the
congrats.
fourth most watched video I've ever made.
Hey, we
Hmm.
like that.
It recently got some more traction because one of the people that I added on Twitter finally fucking retweeted the video, so that got me a couple hundred more views. So
Nice.
yeah, and the reception to it has been like mostly positive. Like there
Y-
were only like two people who like disagreed with me, but like their comments were really stupid, and I was like, all right. I was expecting a lot more hate from this video, but most people who have watched it agree with me. So that's cool, I guess. it,
That's
it means I did
awesome.
a good job.
Agreed.
But yeah, that's all that's been happening with me lately. I kind of entered a bit of a burnout after I finished that video. Like I literally haven't been able to do anything since then. But I have recently, and this has nothing to do with YouTube, but just this is just like personal stuff. But I have recently bought like a 3 month subscription to PS Plus and a copy of Call of Duty World War II because I had an idea of I'm gonna play a Call of Duty game like the multiplayer in order to make some friends because I need to socialize. I'm going insane.
Oh no.
Quarantine is doing a number on my mental health, and I've been playing a lot of World War II for like the past week or so, and it's a fun game. But I literally cannot find anybody who has a microphone. Like all of the
Damn.
matches are just completely dead silent. Like I'm the
Mm.
only one with a mic.
And the saddest thing too is that I'm pretty sure that like like 9 times out of 10, those people are just like in a Discord call.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me. Nothing all too interesting.
That's good. That's good.
He says, not too interesting, Spaceman. That's good.
I benefit when your life is boring as fuck.
We caught you. We caught you at 1080p, Spaceman.
So now that we're all done talking about the random bullshit that we've been up to for the past few weeks, let's move on to our topic of discussion for this week's podcast.
Ayo.
This was the question that you guys cooked up for when I dropped the ball and slept through our last meeting. Which is which piece of media, like cartoons, games, movies, has left the most profound impact on you? And I guess since I missed the last podcast, I'll go first. And I kind of have like three answers to this question, but for the sake of saving time, I'll go with the most important one, which is the video game Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. And I don't know
Ooh.
if I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before with you guys on like a
Yeah.
Discord call. But for the viewers at home, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door was the video game that convinced me to become a writer because that game, I was like 10 years old when I started playing it, and it had such a great story that I fell in love with, and it made me want to tell my own stories to entertain people, and that kind of set me on the path of creative writing. So it's really simple, but it had the most impact on me from like
Hmm.
that standpoint, from what I wanted to do with my life.
All right, Spaceman. Rock paper scissors.
Duh.
Okay, no. Go next. I'll go next. But I'll try to like keep it on the down low. But me personally, let's see, a game. Okay, a game that has definitely like helped shape who I am. I want to say like looking back at it, I want to say it's like I want to say it's Mass Effect because like the Mass Effect trilogy has like like I can just think of it like off the top of my head right now because like it's just a really like just great games. Like it's like it's EA's and like BioWare's like most amazing achievement that they've ever done because like it was so great in terms of like world building and storytelling, and it was like also very immersive. It had like really bomb like characters, soundtrack, even like the scene, like even like sceneries and whatnot. It was just amazing all around, and I loved it. And like ever since like Mass Effect, like I always like in the back of my mind, I always wanted to like do something like that. Like make a world or like make like a game as well that's like something like Mass Effect where it's just amazing and like people can just talk about it like even today and still go back and be like Mass Effect is such a great and amazing game, and I'm like, yes, it is.
You've played Mass Effect 3, right?
Yes, of course.
What did you think about the ending?
Ending.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
Do
okay,
you?
yeah, because like everyone talks about it. Everyone's like, I'm so disappointed and everything. Like all of the things that have built up, like throughout the trilogy, and all we get is like special lights. And I'm like, I get it, but me personally, like, I was okay with the ending, and in fact, I actually loved it. Because like it's like what it goes down to like three things, or four things actually. If you didn't know, there's like a secret ending to where if you shoot the holographic kid, then the kid is like, fine, then you made
Spoiler
your
alert.
choice. We'll still conquer. The Reapers will continue doing their thing. Like nothing changes, and yeah, that goes on. But the three main choices are control the Reapers, synthesis, which is basically like make it to where like the machines and the machines and organics are able to like understand each other to where like essentially the machines have like a personality now. They're not just robots, but they have like they're their own like individual, and that's like something beautiful. Or you can go for destroy, essentially destroying all synthetics in the galaxy. And for me, like that's like kind of perfect because like that's essentially the whole goal of it all. Like or not the whole goal, but like the premise of Mass Effect, because like each like I tried like thinking about it, how like each in a sense, each choice, each conversation, it was always those three. Where it's like, you either try to be peaceful, you try to like gain an advantage in a situation, or you try to like you try to be a dick about it. And for me, I was okay with the ending because like the thing about it is that it doesn't have to be a happy ending. Like Shepard dies either way, and like how the galaxy goes about. It's your choice. You can either make it to where the Reapers are controlled, the Reapers understand, they go about their way, or the Reapers are destroyed. Me personally, I always go for synthesis because it's such a beautiful concept, where like you have these robots that were like meant for this one thing, but then they became more than that. They became their own individuals. They have like their own like thoughts. Essentially, they have their own souls, and like I like the idea. But I also like I also like the destruction path because essentially that's everyone always argues like, oh, Saren, he wanted synthesis, so it's bad. The what's it called, the illusion man or something, he wanted control, so that's bad. The only good one is destroy. But me personally, it's like if you choose destruction, then there was no point in saving. There was no point in being nice to the guest. There was no point in being nice to AI, you know, that you're with. So essentially, it's just like if you go for destruction, then you're just downright saying that machines don't have a right or say to anything, even if they might have like a possibility to being their own people. Which me personally, I don't agree with that. But I do like disruption because it just delves into the fact that like that's just what has been the entire time. Like since day one of Mass Effect, that's like what's everyone's views. Like they want to destroy the Reapers because the Reapers are a threat, which I do understand. But later on, Mass Effect, it builds up to like how machines are their own people too, and I'm like, yes, I like this. So yeah, that's what I think of the ending. And that's like for me, that's like it in terms of video games. But something in terms of like shows and movies, I want to say like Saving Private Ryan, and like that's a movie. And in terms of like shows, Band of Brothers, those two are like World War II themed, so it's like pretty easy to like conjoin them. And for me, what I love about them is that like it just shows like the sense of brotherhood that like the military always tries to like instill in everyone. Like oh, like your fellow like brother in arms and whatnot. And I'm like, that's always something nice to have. Like friends that are always like there for you. Even like even in the thick and thin of it. And like in a sense, I want to say I kind of like set the bar for me in terms of friendship. So like I always look forward to that. People that are always there for me.
Unlike you, spaceman.
Unlike you, spaceman. All right, let's hear you go off, and then we'll judge you silently.
Oh no.
I'm
Gosh.
joking. Just go.
So, when thinking about the topic, I don't really have like much when it comes to like, man, I'm over here. It's like, man, I don't have much of much. But when it comes
That
to,
was exactly my thought.
but if
Much
I,
of much.
but if I have to like come up with stuff, I'm trying to think because like because I wouldn't say just like one thing that I would say that changed like made a big impact because I have to say it's a bunch of like multiple like things like when it comes to like morals coming from video games or shows or movies or such. But like when it
Hmm.
comes to like some of them, I would say is like either like there's like two animes I can think of off the top of my head where it's like was the Dragon Maid, and then there's like another one, but I forgot its name. The other anime I'm trying to explain, I'll just give like a brief description. Is where it's like you have
Oh yeah, describe it so that Travis can tell us which anime
yeah,
it
if
is.
he knows.
Yes, sir. Yo, watch it be. Never mind. I'm
Watch
not
it
gonna
be
say it.
Sword Art Online.
Oh my! But like the other anime I'm trying to get reference to is where you have like this super depressed girl. She is given to this like mage who has like a skull as like a face, and
Oh, you're talking about the ancient Magus's wife. The ancient
yes,
Wife. Yeah.
yes.
I love how I knew it instantly. He just had to say.
Oh man, at this point you're the library of when it comes to anime stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta say those two things do have like a lot of like different like morals and like things that comes up, which is just like interesting. And I would say that also
Hmm.
that'll add to like some of the impacts of like oh okay and like new point of views. But then when it comes to shows, I would say some like Avatar: The Last Airbender is like a good example.
What specifically about the show stuck with you?
It's interesting because like what is it when it comes to Avatar: The Last Airbender, the one thing that definitely stands out of everything is the near like the ending or like the goal of Aang, where everyone is telling him his destiny is to kill Fire Lord Zoro.
Oh no. Oh no, he's
Ozai.
gonna
Ozai! Dang
Fucking
it! I
He
messed.
called him
Zoro?
Ozark.
No, he said Zoro.
I said Zoro. Oh no, Ozai,
That's
Fire
even
Lord
worse.
Zoro.
Ozai.
Fire
Ah.
Lord Zoro. Just like a flaming Z. What does the Z stand for? It stands for Zoro. Is your name Ozai?
Yeah,
It's
I heard
Zoro.
someone call him Ozark once, and I thought they were making a joke. Like I thought they were intentionally calling him the name of that water company, but no, they legitimately thought his name was Ozark.
Ozark. Oh my god.
Oh man, but I liked the point thing that definitely stuck with me was the fact that like he was destined, like everyone, even like the past like avatars were telling him that he is destined to kill the Fire Lord, and even like when it comes to the final battle, it was just like time to kill and all that. But the fact that his determination, also just being a monk himself, was like the fact that his whole entire like morals is that he does not kill. He will never
Hmm.
kill. And he searched around the world in order to find another way to deal with it, with the Fire Lord. And was it he found like the lion turtle person? He taught Aang another way to deal with the Fire Lord, which was to take away his bending. And then it was the fact that it also had like a great risk. Where it's like, yeah, you could take away his bending, but also if he wins, if he's like his determination or will is stronger than yours, that then you will be consumed by him. Or it was like interesting the conflict
Yeah.
there. And I would say that that's the one thing that definitely stood out from the whole entire story, where it's just his whole goal is not to kill him, while everyone else is telling him his destiny is to kill him. Even the previous avatars were like, yeah, no, I killed, but because it was needed.
Yeah, but then like Aang, he wanted to be like better than that, which is something that I'll always respect him for.
Yeah.
It's funny because usually when people talk about The Last Airbender, they say it's like a perfect show except for the ending.
Really? Wait,
Mm.
That's
what?
like the
I've never
general
heard that.
consensus.
I
Are
never
you
heard that
kidding me?
either.
Jesus, every review I've ever seen of Avatar: The Last Airbender is like, this is a perfect show except that the ending is a cop out.
What?
I've
Yeah.
never heard of that.
Go ahead and
That's
explain that because this is
stupid.
our first time hearing that.
Well, it's
To
not
be
my
honest.
opinion, so I'm.
But yeah, no, it's okay. But yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd
Well,
love an
that and because
explanation.
I personally like, I don't think the ending is a cop out, but like, I'm kind of like in the minority here because I don't dislike Avatar, but I don't like it all that much. Like, I think it's okay. It's not a bad show in my opinion, but it's just
Hmm.
I don't see the hype per se.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Like okay,
It's alright.
now I'm even more intrigued. Like
Well, because the thing is too, because I don't exactly remember the arguments against why the ending is bad. I just know that that is a like a talking point from like a lot of reviewers.
that is interesting.
Because I know ER's video on Avatar, or it wasn't on Avatar. He was reviewing Legend of Korra, there was a part in the video where because he shits on Legend of Korra, he thinks it's a terrible sequel, and one of the parts of his video was him going over Avatar and trying to like throw a bone to Korra fans by saying, "Okay, let's get over all the problems Avatar has, so you can't say that I'm a fanboy." And one of his criticisms was of how the ending was a cop out, and I don't remember exactly what his criticism was. All I remember is that he didn't like the ending, and then I saw Mr. Enter's review of the first season of Legend of Korra, and he brought up the exact same point: how the ending of Avatar was a cop out.
That is so weird because that is. I guess they either missed the point or they just really don't care
Well,
about the
Enter's
ending.
problem, and I do remember, his problem wasn't that it wasn't set up, like the whole spirit bending thing. His problem was that the entire series was building up to Aang having to make a choice between either killing the Fire Lord or getting killed himself, and he felt that all of that buildup was wasted because of some hackneyed like third option that he was able to take at the last minute. That
Mm.
was his problem. Like he thought
Uh,
the problem wasn't that it was set up; it was the payoff that he didn't like.
then I'm pretty sure that person's not gonna like the Mass Effect ending then. Oh man, because like I will understand in terms of like Avatar and Avatar: Last Airbender. I mean, yeah, they built up like they built up over like, oh, you gotta kill him or you're gonna die. But like also like if you pay attention to Aang's character, like he's only ever fought when he had to defend himself. Like he never he
Mm-hmm.
never he
Hmm.
never engaged in
Well,
fighting, and he always like tried to like not like hurt anyone. If anything, like his fighting style is him like being evasive.
Yeah. The thing is,
at
he
least
doesn't.
until like the towards the latter half of the series. But even then, it's still defensive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still defensive. So like at the end of the day, that's just not who he is. So like yes, like they would like keep doing that, but like they could keep like bringing out the choice of like kill him or don't kill him. But like like you clearly see like he's like struggling with himself as well as like he's like trying like he doesn't want to kill Ozai. I mean I'm sorry Ozark. I mean Zoro.
It's also interesting just due to the fact that I would say the moral of the story is mostly that it's not you're not forced either A or B. There's always more options out there that everyone's not maybe seeing or is hidden and must be
Yeah.
found.
Exactly. Like it always takes another perspective because like it's almost like looking at a cube. You only see one side while another person can see another side.
I guess it just from the other, like I'm trying to see how other people could see it. And I guess the main complaint is that it's set up far too quickly, like the spirit bending. Like it only shows up at like the very end of the series. Like
Mm.
maybe if they had set it up earlier or kind of had more build up to it or like little hints here and there that there was this third option that people wouldn't have that big a problem with the ending.
Mm.
I guess I think I get it. The only problem is I don't really see him taking away his bending as like spirit bending. It's just like I felt like what you
Well, that
call it?
was what he did though, because
Yeah.
that's the only way he could have taken away his powers and everything.
Yeah, but like but me personally, I don't know. I don't see it as spirit bending, because like spirit bending would have to be like essentially what we saw in Korra,
I'm
Legend of
sorry,
Korra.
but I do think that was spirit bending. Just being able to
Yeah,
turn people like powers off, I feel like that is like its own spirit bending of its own.
Well, that's
because
what
like
that falls within what the like spirit like told Aang like how it worked.
Yeah?
I guess yeah, but the other thing is that like for me, I say this because like the reason is because like in Legend of Korra, they kind of delve into like the fact that like turns out like you don't need spirit bending. If you just somehow like use blood bending, then I can take away your bending just like that. By like shutting it out, and then you have to reuse spirit bending just so then they can like get back their bending to unlock it.
That's
That's
fair,
weird.
but Legend of Korra is stupid, so I don't count it.
Yeah, that's true.
I would
I don't
say
know.
like when it
Sorry,
comes
go
to
on, Spaceman.
yeah, Legend of Korra, I've heard like many things will happen. We'll say like season one is like the best because they were planning just for
No,
one
no,
season.
no, no,
But
no,
then
no.
like when
You have been misled, Spaceman. That is not true.
ah man, but like from like some was I guess you could say rumors or something like that from the internet, where it was just like Legend of Korra was only meant for one season, but then they were given more seasons to continue the story or something like that afterwards, so they had to like improvise. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
wouldn't surprise me with their programming schedule, like what time a show
yeah,
aired. Yeah, because Nickelodeon fucked around a lot with the core producers.
Mm.
So I can definitely
yeah,
see that as an explanation for why this series came out so bad.
Yeah,
yeah.
I can definitely
Yeah,
see
me
it too.
personally, Legend of Korra should have just ended at season 1.
Or not
Because
being made at all, because the ending of season 1 kind of destroys the entire series.
to be honest,
Mm.
because like they should have just done it to where like if they're gonna continue like the Avatar story, maybe they should have done it to where like like how Aang and the others were like managing the world as it continued to progress.
Kind of like
Because
Deep
like
Space Nine, but for Avatar.
exactly, because like they basically just did like a whole time skip, and I'm like, but what happened in the middle?
Well, I don't really mind the time skip. It was just how they handled everything that happened in the world of Avatar.
True.
Unfortunately,
Uh,
I can't really give much into Legend of Korra since I haven't like I
mhm.
only seen clips of it. I haven't actually watched the whole thing through. My brother has, and he's the one who told me like some information. My brother loves the whole like series, so I can't really say much on my side. Like either it's good or
Uh,
bad, so I can't
it's
give a
okay.
final rating.
For me the only problem is Legend of Korra. It just felt like it was just another copy of Avatar: Last Airbender. It's just they just tried to take it in a different direction in terms of the Avatar, because essentially the sidekicks were basically the same in terms of like like oh you had the funny one, and then you had like the love interest, and then you have I don't know angsty one, and then you had the Avatar. Like that was basically that. It basically felt like that. It was just
Mm.
another copy. And I was like, for me personally, I was like, if you're gonna, continue it, just make up different characters, kind of, just be different about it. You want different avatar, then just give them different characters too. You give me different avatar but same sidekicks, then it's you're basically just telling me you just wanted to make a
Yeah,
different
and that
copy of it. Sorry,
The
go on.
Legend of Korra just struck me as a show that just exists for the sake of existing. Like the
Yeah.
writers didn't have an idea as to how to build up the world after the end of the original series, so they're
Uh-huh.
just like, "Fuck it, we'll just do Avatar again."
Let's just do Avatar again, but a different era. They have cars. They have boats. They
That's
have
what disappoints me
airplanes.
so much, is that Legend of Korra takes place during the Gilded Age, and you don't know how badly I want a good fantasy series that takes place during that time period. Because
Because
that
like it
sounds
was,
like such a cool fucking idea.
it is, and it was so cool when like we saw how like they were using like their bending, like in terms of like how to like progress the city or how to help out around in the city. I'm like, yes, he's using lightning bending to power the city. This is good.
Even though I don't know how so many people could become that good at lightning bending,
I
when
know,
in
yeah.
the
That's
original series, it was one of the hardest things to do.
It was literally one of the hardest things to do, and all of a sudden
yeah.
they're like, psh,
Yeah, like was it lightning bending, metal bending was just discovered too. Was it
and then blood bending and
They never
uh,
did they ever revisit that in Legend of Korra, the
I
bloodbending?
don't I don't think so.
They
I
I thought they
kind
haven't.
of
did.
totally forgot about that.
Did they?
If I remember correctly, there is like a villain who comes out
Oh
and there is blood bending, but it's like oh rare or something like that. It's just a genetic thing apparently.
yeah. It was literally season 1. How I literally talked about it too, about how like the villain used blood bending to somehow close off like something in their body to
No.
keep them
Okay,
from blending.
if I remember correctly, it wasn't the fact that they turned off the bending. It's just the fact that they used the blood bending in order to stop them from moving their hands. Basically, turn them into puppets so they can't bend anymore because they need to do movement in order to bend. If
Hmm.
it with the blood bending, what the bad guy did, he just basically stopped them and crushed like them onto the ground where they can't bend because they can't move their hands anymore. If I remember correctly. I haven't.
I
I
If
haven't.
anything, I'm just gonna have to revisit Legend of Korra because it's on
Yeah,
Netflix.
it's gonna
The
be
whole thing is on
painful to
Netflix.
rewatch it, but
It really is, but I watched season 1 and 2. I just haven't watched book 1 and 2. I haven't watched book 3 or 4 yet. And not gonna lie, book Legend of Korra had some good moments. It's like for me personally, the best moments were when of Aang's children, because
Oh
I
yeah.
like I love those moments how like they interact with each other, and it's for me, it was basically just like how Aang, Katara, and Sokka used to interact with each other. You know how they were like goofy and everything, and still like the best of friends. And like I loved how like basically they even delved into the part where like the three of them were Aang's children, and they have like all this weight on their shoulders because like they have to live up to that standard, to that like image. And one of them was a non-bender, and so he had to try his hardest even more to live up to that image. And I was like, this is good.
I'd like to see a series about them.
Exactly.
That sounds interesting. You're the child of the fucking last airbender, and you have no bending abilities.
Oh
To
man,
be
yeah, like it would be interesting. Like in the future, they could definitely dive into like either like some with one element having to deal with like everything else, or just no elements. Like the non-benders, apparently that like they made like a big focus on them in like season 1 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I hate season 1.
I gotta say, so far from the few episodes I saw of season 1, my brother had me binge like 3 of them. It's just good so far. I mean, yeah, it like does have its moments, but it's good overall.
The reason why like I just didn't bother continuing was because of book 2, because I was so irritated by book 2. It was like you don't mind if I spoil anything,
Actually,
or do you want me to hold off?
yeah, just hold off because I don't know if I may be seeing it in the future or not. But from my brother's point of view, he said it does like go down, but it goes back up when it like reaches the last season.
Oh, because I no longer trust your brother's taste in anything anymore.
if anything, I can have you guys talk. Like, I can have my brother talk to you, and it's like, hey, let him hype you up or something like that.
Because
I'll have to rewatch the series first.
Yeah, I'll have to actually watch the whole series in order to give you guys like my point of view on it. But until I see it, I can't. I just can really only give what I remember or what I've seen. But yeah, I trying to think back. There's just too many things that have like small, like that when added together will give like a big impact. But I can't really put one above the other since they all have their own like interpretation of like it's some sort of good impact or good like moral to it. Where basically with all these different things comes together and it's like, oh, that's how it is. Like I know the feeling from it, but I don't exactly know like where that comes from exactly. And that's why I'm having so much trouble trying to pick out which or other to give like a good example because they're all good in their own way.
That is true.
Man,
way to go, Spaceman. You would go for they're all good.
I know, right? It's just like I didn't want to do it, but it's just like damn it, I can't come up with anything better. Oh man,
the communist way of thinking.
Oh my gosh.
Alrighty. Anyway, let's shift forward to the second segment.
Yep.
Alex the Critic, would you care to explain the second segment?
So, about a year ago, year and a half maybe, Cartoon Network released a series of PSAs that were made. I guess how would you describe them? Steven Universe PSAs?
Yeah, there were Steven Universe PSAs
that specifically focused on the issue of racism in our society. And these PSAs, in my opinion, are some of the worst pieces of media. They're definitely some of the worst cartoons I've seen in the past few years. But as PSAs, they are terrible. And I mean just terrible. And in order to, I guess in celebration of really bad media, we here at Close the Tab are going to react to these PSAs and make fun of them for how dumb they are.
Oh my god!
I just love. We're gonna respond. Yes, we're gonna make a responding video and send it straight to Cartoon Network.
That's the thing, because I'm actually gonna make my own separate review of these PSAs, and I'm gonna edit in like our reactions during certain points of that video, because your movie sucks does like a similar thing where whenever he's like reviewing a movie or a cartoon, he'll edit in like the live reactions of him and his friends just for like comedic value. So I wanted to kind of do that thing here for my own video on the PSAs. So that's why I just react to it on the podcast.
Hey, sounds
Alrighty.
good.
Alrighty, we're ready. Let's do this.
Oh, you picked the worst one.
Because everyone's the same. Everybody join our circle. Doesn't matter if you're white or black or purple.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, pause it.
Wait.
Oh my god.
What?
Alright,
What?
problem. Amethyst is an alien, alright? So her skin color really doesn't matter. Because
Really?
in Steven Universe, they never established that the gems are racist. Or
Yeah,
that
they
they
never.
segregate based on skin color.
Yeah.
So her getting offended by this makes no sense contextually.
I mean, hey, look, just blame this guy. He's the one. He's the one directing this shit.
And the fact they just went heavy right into it, right off the bat, it's like, whoa!
I know. It was just white or black. I'm like, huh?
Yeah. And now it looks like it's going to get even more crazier. It's just like, oh no, I'm not ready.
Probably
And you
will.
gotta love how they have the directors there. Like, because
Yeah, it
these
just says-
PSAs are gonna, like,
Direct.
they're gonna have, like, this veneer of what we're shooting right now is so, like, cheesy and, like, stupid. And, like, it kind of muddies the message because if you have the characters constantly joke about how dumb their message is, that just makes the message itself seem, like, dumb. You know?
Yeah.
It does, yeah. It's almost like me going, "Hey, Spaceman, you suck because you're an Italian, because you're French Italian." Just kidding. And remember, kids, don't be racist. Proceeds to just berate Spaceman about him being a French Italian.
Yeah. Oh
Alright,
man.
let's,
But yeah,
let's continue.
Let's dive deeper into this mess.
A minute here. Ugh, who wrote this? I think it kind of does matter that I'm purple. I mean, I'm purple because I'm literally an alien.
Well, I'm not an alien, but it definitely matters to me that I'm black. Yeah, it makes a difference that I'm white. I know the two of us get treated very differently.
Oh my god.
I just think it's messed
Oh my
up to
God.
compare me being an alien to you two being different races. You're both human. You're totally biologically the same. Adding purple people into a lesson about human racism makes no sense.
Yeah, that is pretty weird. I think
What
people
the-
get
what
lost
the
on purple
heck?
thing
Quick,
because
pause
adding
it,
a
pause it, pause it.
Okay, hold on, wait. I just want to make it clear that unfortunately, I don't like. They're kids. They're not gonna think about that.
Exactly. That was running through my mind through all of these PSAs. It's like children do not talk like this.
If
Like,
anything, kids are like, "I'm Superman," or like, I'm gonna go. I want a Nerf gun, or I want Legos, or I want play fucking Fortnite. No, not. They don't care about this.
Yeah. And then also it's just like the irony that they're using the whole entire thing. Like, oh, why are we using aliens for this? And it's like, you guys are, you what? Oh my gosh, the irony is so. I find if it's me, I'm saying like just the irony is just so dumb at this point. Like they're saying the same
irony.
thing that they are doing, and they're saying
Yeah,
why are
it's
we
like-
doing that? You guys are doing that.
what we're doing is bad. We know that it's bad, but we're gonna do it anyway.
We're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
Let's just keep going. It
Yeah.
gets worse.
fantasy race in there helps distract from the actual racism black people have to deal with. Right. My experience with anti-black racism is really specific. Other people of color experience other forms of racism too, but you won't see any of that if you don't see color.
All right, pause
Oh
it.
my gosh.
Pause it. That is literally the exact opposite of what not seeing color means. Is that you don't treat people differently based on their skin color because you don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a stupid argument. I don't understand where they're coming from here. It's like, what do they want exactly?
Yeah.
'Cause
Like
that's
all I heard was that they're literally attacking a small group. Like, what was it? Not, I don't know, small or anything, but I know there was like a group of people like, oh yeah, skin color doesn't matter, and like we should treat each other like as that. And they're literally attacking that group. And it's just like, why? Why are you putting like? Why are you even nitpicking like different groups at this point?
It's essentially attacking the pacifists, going,
Yeah.
guys, make peace, not war. You know, like it doesn't matter your skin color, and then them going, it does matter.
you have to see race, damn it.
We're not just humans. You're an Asian human. I'm a French Italian human. We're not the same, but we are the same. Now shut the fuck.
Yeah, it's just.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's get back into it.
Higher public service announcement could be a ploy to avoid talking about racism altogether. Hey, could we get a rewrite where we appreciate each other without erasing what makes each of us different?
Okay, but it's gonna add a couple hours to the shoot.
I can My make yours speaker's open.
You were rolling just now, weren't you? Can't we just slap some graphics on this and call it a day?
Oh my, pause
Oh
it.
my
Pause.
gosh.
Look at read this message.
C color B anti. What the heck? Oh my gosh.
This is exactly what the kind of slogan I would come up with if you asked me to come up with the most racist slogan. Just see color. Because that's
Oh my gosh!
Did you just realize what it said?
When he said it like, ah, I,
I have
ah.
no words. This is literally the most self-defeating nonsense I think I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Also, we just caught Spaceman being racist at 1080p. We got him, boys. We got him.
But oh
But yeah,
my
no, this is incense.
gosh.
Because like I feel like I know where they're coming from because they're trying to say like, you know, oh, there's those people that just ignore it. You know, they're not even like doing anything. You know, they're like, I don't see any of that
Yeah.
because I don't care. But there are people that are like, I don't see it because I do care. And I'm like, that's like that's kind of that's literally
And
me.
also they the issues that Amethyst brings up are really vague. Like she asks, can't we like make a PSA against racism without ignoring what makes us different? And I'm like, what do you mean by that exactly?
Yeah, that,
Exactly.
that means
What's your point?
oh my, yeah, it's like, what are you trying to
Because
say?
you were just saying about how like I'm white, I'm black, I'm purple, and I'm like that's already something that you're different about, but you want to make something that doesn't ignore what you're different about, but you're not giving us any like any more
You're
context.
presenting a problem that most people don't have and not providing a solution.
Yes,
It's just
that.
self-defeating. Like that's the perfect word for it.
Yeah.
And also like racist as hell. But you know, I'm pretty sure most people picked up on that.
Also, I find it racist that they don't have an Asian person there. What's wrong with Asian? I'm joking. No.
And like the whole thing is just even more dumb because like as you're saying like in the beginning, they like were talking about like, oh, well, I'm this color, I'm this color, I'm this color, and then they're like, oh, there's an issue about that. And at the end, it's like literally, see color. You guys were already mentioning about colors earlier. What's the issue then? What's the issue?
You're either colorblind or you're not. Make up your mind.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's just like, and then, what's special then, huh? It's like, be anti-racist. You guys have said, okay, so let me get to from all this video says. So at first, you guys say, like, you guys are telling your colors. That's bad. Why are we only mentioning our colors? Then you guys go on a whole, like, tangent. Then they come back, and then they leave this logo here. It says, see color, be anti-racist. Earlier, you just mentioned being racist was just seeing people by their color. At the end, you saying seeing by their color is not racist. They basically just back down on what they just said.
Cough, cough. Politics. Cough, cough. Oh man. Alrighty.
Let's watch the.
Let's watch the next one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
you
no.
know?
Class, can anyone tell me who invented the light bulb?
Thomas Edison!
That's not entirely true. The light bulb could more rightfully be attributed to Louis Latimer, the black inventor behind the filament inside
All right,
the bulb.
let's pause it. So like big problem factually is that Louis Latimer improved the light bulb. That does not mean he invented it. So that's wrong.
Straight up.
Yeah, oh my gosh. And even like if they were correct, like, oh, he made the filament. It's like the filament is not the light bulb, is it?
It's a component.
Yeah.
It's almost like if like someone was to credit like the guy who made the trigger for like making the gun, when like no, he made the trigger, and a trigger can be used for a lot of things, you know.
Yeah.
Like we should definitely remember who Louis Latimer is, but let's not falsely attribute the invention of the light bulb to him.
Definitely.
From that day forward, Close the Tab was canceled.
You guys are racist.
You guys are racist. You should go check your facts. Alright, we just did, but okay. And also, that's like another thing too that I hate the most is that like the only problem is like, you know, people are always like check your facts and like it's right there, but the only problem is like
they choose
it's
not
like
to
it's
see
like one of those things they also choose not to see it, but it's like one of those things where like they have that mentality where it's like, oh, like you had to be there because like who's like in my opinion, like you personally had to be there to like know the true, like the actual true facts. For me, like everything else is not entirely true because like there's always going to be like different perspectives on that one fact, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be stuff that's left out or that we just don't know, like straight up.
Exactly, you know, just like in American history, like yeah, we may bring like you know people always love to bring up about like you know all the bad things that America has done, but it's like that's not only just it, you know, and like people are like yeah, it's not just that, you know, and like there's more, and I'm like well yeah, there's more, but like you know where am I getting at this? I feel like I was getting at this. I was trying to make a point. Yeah, Spaceman is a racist. Let's get on to it.
Made light bulbs affordable and efficient enough for the general public, bringing electric light into households around the world.
Well, so now you know. Wait, is that it? Hold on. We're not going to mention why he invented the filament? To create a better standard of living for people who had only just been freed from slavery? Are we going to ask why kids are apparently learning about...
What?
What the
I always love
heck?
that. I always love that. They always bring up slavery.
Why do
first
they
of
even
all-
need to bring that? Like the top of the
What?
light bulb to slavery? It's like, oh, betterment of people in slavery. The light bulb benefits everyone, excuse me?
And second of all, I'm not sure that that's exactly what Lewis Latimer was going for. Like, I'm pretty sure he helped Thomas Edison with the light bulb so that he could make a boatload of money. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's
Exactly, because you know. Then again, can we all remind our viewers that everyone essentially does it for the money?
Yeah.
We need money to live. Don't tell me you don't do it for the money.
We're capitalists here on Close the Tab.
At the end of the day, you can call yourself a communist or something. Nah, you're a capitalist. You think about money. You want money. You desire money.
And also, again, they're like making fun of the fact that they're filming cheesy PSAs, and it makes me not take the message seriously. Because if the characters see a problem with it, then that just makes me more inclined to not go along with whatever they're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
To be honest, like for me, it's like one of those things where it's like this is a serious thing, and they should just make it serious. I understand that like Steven Universe is a cartoon, but like if you're gonna speak out about it, get serious about it. Don't like yes, you're like talking to children, but at the end of the day, just be serious about it. You know, don't be jokingly. Don't be like, cut. Okay, are we seriously going with this? Like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, that's so dumb. Just like have it flow all at once instead of just having that cut over again and cut over again.
Exactly. Ugh. Anyway.
Yeah.
What the hell's that?
Thomas Edison! Ugh. And not learning about Lewis Latimer? These textbooks are incomplete. There were black Roman warriors, black medieval knights, black classical musicians, black cowboys, black fighter pilots. Where are they? I worry about you humans because you only live, what, about 100 years? You rely on these stories to know your own history. Thanks to systemic
Alright,
racism,
pause it,
most
pause
of
it.
your storytellers...
There's so much wrong with what she just said right there.
Mhm.
And first thing that I think I'd like to bring up is this whole like demonization of like historical films, because that's what she's going for when she talks about you guys only get your history from like films and like shows and stuff. And I'm like, you know, that's a good way for people to learn about history.
Yeah.
Like movies like Dunkirk and 1917 and
Or Saving Private
Saving
Ryan.
And what's another good World War II film? It's also from Steven Spielberg. God damn it, what's it called? Schindler's List.
Schindler. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I
These
can't
are-
believe I forgot.
These are all really, really good movies that are based on maybe not exactly history, but in a specific time period.
Specific time period of
Yeah.
history that like that can give you a perspective on it. You know, like for instance, The Pianist. Am I the only one? I guess I'm the
Oh,
only
is
one.
that isn't that the director of that film like a pedophile?
Fuck. Really?
I don't know.
That's Roman Polanski, right? The Pianist.
Oh shit. I hope not. The Pianist.
Unless you're talking
Because-
about a different film.
Oh no.
Ooh.
He's a pedophile.
Yeah.
I am so angry at. No, kill me now.
This got off topic.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Let's go back to racism.
Alright, second of all, I don't like how condescending Pearl is being towards human beings. Like, you do realize you belong to a race of aliens that has like subjugated and conquered millions of species and planets.
And caused genocide as well.
And yeah, did like genocide.
Yeah, if I'm going to learn about racism, it's not going to be from any of the crystal gems.
Yeah, they don't really, at this point, they don't even have the right to talk about it. Like,
especially since the three of them have been on the planet Earth for like hundreds of years. So presumably they were around for stuff like slavery and the Holocaust and the genocide of the Indians.
and that means
And
they
they
did
didn't
nothing.
anything.
Yeah, they didn't do anything. They just stood by.
Oh, and also my final point, she says that we don't learn anything about famous black people in history, and I'm like, do you not know about a little thing called Black History Month?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a big thing in public schools.
To be honest,
I mean,
Yeah.
for fuck's sake, Martin Luther King's birthday is a national holiday.
it's a national holiday.
That's true as well. Oh my gosh. And then the fact that she just says humans as well. It's like, you know, you're also including the same people you're talking about, right? I don't know. I just thought that was very ironic in that statement as well. She's
Yeah, the same people you're trying to uplift, you're also talking down to.
Yep.
We're talking down upon, yeah.
And also, no Asian representation.
Yeah.
What the hell, Cartoon Network?
Yeah, come on. Where the fucking Asians?
Wouldn't that be like a better argument to make? Because you could talk about how in World War II, the U.S. like fucking
literally
sent
had
the
a
Japanese to internment camps.
internment camps, exactly, and they
and
were
also, like how we never see any films about the Japanese perspective of World War II.
Yeah.
That is
Except
true.
for like maybe Grave of the Fireflies, but that's about it. And then, well, there's been we've talked about this last week, but the point
we
is,
did, yeah.
there's a ton of like perspectives that we don't talk about because in this country, the only races that people are interested in covering are white and black. If you,
White
if
and
you don't
black.
fall into either of those categories, we never talk about your issues.
That's,
like, how much of a like think about it. Everybody knows who Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are.
Yeah.
But nobody knows. Not as many people know who Cesar Chavez is. You know. Even though they were all prominent civil rights activists.
Yeah.
So
ooh.
that's all I wanted to say.
Alrighty, let's get back into it.
Prioritize white accomplishments, which leaves you with an incomplete picture. Ask yourself as you're learning history, who's telling the story? Was this modified to make white readers comfortable? Are major details being left out that would credit people of color and center their point of view? Honestly, I should have asked for script approval before agreeing to do
Alright,
this.
pause it. She literally that's the problem of them making fun of how cheesy their PSA. That line right there, that invalidates this entire PSA. I cannot take anything she says seriously at this point because they're making fun of themselves when they really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
This is not the place for them to be self-aware.
Oh my gosh. I agree with you. It's just the whole breaking out character theme is just like that doesn't help with the situation. It just makes it more awkward or less credible. It's just like what's going on here?
And I also like to ask Pearl for like a citation on the whole history books being written from a white perspective and trying to whitewash history. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but whenever we learned about American history in class, we would always harp on about all the shitty things America has done, like what we did to the Native Americans and slavery and the Civil War and the Civil Rights movement. Like,
and
we
then the
learned
Japanese internment camps.
Yeah, we learned about all of that shit. So I don't see where Pearl is coming from. Like, I was taught about a bunch of the injustices that America committed in its history. And also another thing that I don't think even the writers of this PSA are aware of, but they do know that every country on Earth, every civilization, at some point or another has done something fucked up to some other country or some other civilization.
Yep.
It's not just America.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Germany.
Like, what is
England.
Like, speaking of something recent, like, if I remember correctly, Joe Biden, like, mentions, like, something about a genocide happening with the
the Armenian genocide.
Yes,
yeah,
he
the
actually
Armenian
acknowledged
genocide.
it, and they're all pissed off about it. Even though it's like, yeah, it happened 100 years ago. Get over it. And they're like, oh, America, you did mistakes too. It's like America's just like, yeah, we tell our people that we make mistakes. Like we know that we are not perfect, and they're over there like, oh no one should talk about it. It's like, you guys are the ones who did it. That's your fault. Anyways, that's just me over here.
It's written in the history books.
Yeah.
It just like pisses me off that so many of like these woke media talk about things from such a Western point of view. It's like you forget that the rest of the world is not as like good as you might think it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's finish this one off.
Finish it off.
I'm sorry, we didn't know.
Well, so now you know.
What is again? What are they asking for? What do they want? What's the solution here?
Yeah. All they're mentioning just random like information, and they're like, all right, you figure out the rest. It's like, what?
Yeah. It's like we already get taught about Black history and like civil rights struggles and like all of the nasty things that have happened in American history. What more do they want? What are they asking for?
Yeah. And then
like at this point it seems like it's just like, oh, you may as well just build a time machine so you're actually there, so then you'll actually know.
Yeah. And then also the thing is just like they're trying to focus on like children, right? But even though like if I'm correct, a majority of racist people are the older kind, where they learn from that like older people and such. And most of the kids wouldn't even understand like or would even think about like just racism in general. Like, if I'm correct, I may be wrong on this, but
it's like they say racism is taught.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I just don't see the point in this. It's like most kids are brought up to be tolerant and accepting of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't understand what they're going for.
Yeah. Tell
because
the
of
whole
anything,
story.
Because me personally, like, how to say it? Okay, I know I'm probably gonna get some fire from this, but like these PSAs, you know, like being anti-this, it kind of adds fuel to the fire, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're just dividing people more.
Yeah, you're just dividing people more, and like you're.
That's true. They're being racist in their own context because they're like, oh, the white people are not telling you all the things. You guys are being racist because you're already starting up like a whole dividing between white and black.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're already working off a premise that
and
white
like
people are doing X thing.
For me, like if they truly wanted to make a PSA about like not being racist, I would have made it to where like, you know, oh, just be nice to everyone. You know, don't do this, don't do that. You know, like, you know, don't be an asshole. Essentially,
Yeah.
just have Pearl. Yeah, have Pearl go. Don't be an asshole. And everyone's like, ooh. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, if you really just teach people the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. There you go. That's the perfect thing. You could easily just slap that down into the small clip that we just watched, and that will work. Instead of this whole like ramble jumble of what they're trying to like, oh, be all smart, like, even though they have some things wrong, and then they're just like, it is a mess.
Problem is, like, there'll be people that are like, this isn't enough. Then make it to where it will be enough. You know, be like, because at the end of the day, these PSAs can do so much. It's up to them to like, you know, take action and do something. You know.
Well, I'm convinced that like they wrote these in one draft.
Yeah.
To be honest.
If you just like took a second to look back at what they're actually saying, you would realize how racist all of this comes off as.
Yeah.
Which tells me that they didn't have an editor around to make sure that they didn't come off as racist while they were writing these PSAs.
I bet they just wrote them and slapped them down, and that's it.
And I love how comments are turned off.
Yeah, that's
I
so
love that.
dumb. It's just like, grow some balls and let the comments ruin your day because this is trash.
Yeah, if you're gonna put out something racist, at least take the heat for it, you know?
Yeah.
I just hate that they're using the crystal gems too.
Yeah, like why Steven Universe? I don't get it.
Why not Teen Titans Go?
Yeah, why? Fuck it. Use Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, the art style is similar. What? There's no. Oh my gosh. Huh?
This one's the least bad.
I think I've seen this one.
Hey, when we're older, let's get married. Ha! You can't get married.
Yo, hold on.
What
Can we?
What the heck? This is so. The essence escalated from 0 to 100. I didn't even register. Oh my god.
I need to see. Hold on. So they go from let's get married when we're older, and then.
Ha! You can't get married.
It's not even that. It's even funnier because they literally fell down a slide and like hey, I know we just fell out asleep, but let's get married in the future. It's like, what? And another kid comes over like, ha, not.
That was such an awkward flow.
That you brought up so many topics all of a sudden. It's just like, why are we going into like what? Where's this going?
The only thing that irks me the most is that, like, me watching anime, I've seen that line used a lot. The whole "let's get married when we're younger," but it's used by like 2-year-olds or like fucking basically toddlers who don't know better. These kids are like, they look like they belong in like probably like close to middle school, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what middle schooler is gonna walk up to like his best friend and go, "Let's get married when we're like when we're older"? No, freaking. My brother will walk up to his best friend and go, "Hey, you want to play some Call of Duty Warzone?" Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like these writers don't know how kids act.
Ha ha ha! Knee flapper.
Kings. God damn it, Spaceman.
Alright, I have no idea where this is gonna go, by the way. This is a whole...
I've
Haven't
seen
this before?
I've seen
I
this
have not.
one,
I have
and
not.
I was so.
So we're gonna get the best reactions from Spaceman.
Yeah, we will. Let's go.
We're already getting a lot on the right off the bat. Oh my gosh.
Why not? Black people can't marry white people.
What the hell?
It's still just as funny.
What the so?
Like, first of all,
What is this? Some sort of weird love triangle
he
thing?
wouldn't make fun of them for being gay. He wouldn't make fun of them for
Yeah,
as a racist.
So that's funny because any middle school was right off to be like, haha, that's gay. But it goes from like, oh no, you can't go with someone's black. Oh my gosh. All I'm imagining is this person also has a crush on that white guy too. And he's trying to make some sort of excuse saying, no, you two can't be. Dude, come on, let's go. He's like, what the hell? Are we getting into rom-com area? Oh my gosh. And this is a short. How many minutes? Only few. What?
Only 16 seconds in, and already we're losing it.
Oh my god. Dude, see what 0 to 100? Is it gonna go higher? Is it gonna go lower? I feel like this point's gonna mellow down, but like, oh my gosh, so many things happen at once. Like, you have like the top of the what is it, gay relationship right off the bat, and like, haha, black. It's like, what? Okay, because we're moving on to that topic. It's like they couldn't it's like they couldn't smoothly go from one topic to another. Like, oh no, we're gonna jump the gun. Oh my god.
It would make more sense if these like kids were playing in like a sandlot and they were like building castles, and this kid like smashed their castle and goes like, "You're not supposed to be playing with each other because you're black and he's white."
That would have been more easier.
That would have been better.
So much better.
Instead of like, you can't get married. Why? Because black people does marry white people. I was like, what?
That's so it's so like forced as well. Like, it's not even it doesn't even naturally flow as even like a sentence. It's just like so out of place.
Like, it's so sad because like it's one of those things where it's like, I hate bullying, but I know this kid is gonna get bullied. Like, if this was like a real life scenario, he would have gotten shanked. He would have gotten bullied. Like, it would have been really terrible to be this kid right now.
Oh
it's just
my god.
Like, and speaking of that, I just love how like, there's like these people like, racism and whatnot, but like literally, like, I went like me going to a public high school. Yeah, people were like being jokingly racist, but they never were outright being like hateful and spiteful just because I was being Asian. This is one thing that that one of my teachers in the past has brought up, because like she believes that people have lost the purpose or like what racism really is, because being a racist means hating someone just because of their race,
Yeah.
And like nowadays people are just like they just like kind of lost it, where like they just see like these things and they're like, oh, that's racist, or oh, that's racist, when it's like, well, it's like it's not being outright, being hateful or spiteful to them just because of their race.
Yeah, I know
a
what
mess.
you're talking about too, because I heard it before as well, where it's just like the idea of racism has been like twisted to where it's like, oh, instead of focusing on the minority groups that are like literally like being hated upon, like especially happening around the world in other locations, it's literally like, oh, what is it? They denied this thing to this one guy because he didn't have money. How dare they? They're racist.
They're
or like,
racist.
or like it's thrown that word is thrown around so much at this point that it's no.
It just lost its meaning,
Yeah.
and it became a different meaning. Or like one thing, like because you brought up about like minorities and whatnot, and how like it basically just like it focused on like this one big group. I think you said, right?
Yeah.
I love that because like no one speaks about the Asian hate that's been going on right now. It's still about the whole like black and white thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like why is it only literally black and white?
There's other ones where it's Asian, like literally like I forgot what it was. I think it was like an Asian market. It literally got shot up, and somehow people try to tie that in with like like with black hate, and I'm like, no, this is clearly Asian hate. Asian
Yeah.
people died.
It's so dumb because like they're trying to look for color difference. Like
Exactly. When it's
racism
not just
isn't
that.
only color difference; it also includes cultural difference. Like earlier that I mentioned about that whole genocide that happened 100 years ago was literally cultural genocide. That's also considered racism because they didn't like that other race or if you want, other culture of people. They literally focus on a group and kill them or kick them
just
out
kill
of the
them off.
land. It's like that's straight up racism. That's what racism is.
Exactly.
People focus on a group and hate them because of it. Just because
Exactly.
they exist. It's not like they did anything. Like, oh yeah, it was a tweet that I saw, or like something that I saw, where it was like literally the way racism is concepted, like in other in like current like animation stories, is really where these guys are being racist, and then the show shows them like being like some sort of like was it Zootopia, for example, like how racism was supposed to be a target to the predators, even though they also explained that predators killed the prey long ago. That's not really racism. That's literally just like, oh yeah,
That's
something else. That's like more something else.
that's
Like, oh,
natural. That's natural life. That's what it had to be back then.
well, no. I'm not talking about.
Or is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm not. I'm not exactly talking about the prey and like predator aspect. It was like example that someone was using, because
Right.
there's other shows. The main issue that I'm trying to say is that they'll be like using racism as, oh, this group of people, they were killing our people before. Now that we are in power, we're basically kicking them down to the ground because of the past stuff. And now and then like the show will perceive them as racist to the people who were killers back then. Where it's just like okay, why I'm trying to explain myself, which I'm really horrible all of a sudden.
I think I understand where you're coming from. Where it's like, move on. I think that's what you're trying to say. Like, just like
don't call that racism if not exactly racism, because if another group was like, shoot, man, I'm really sucking at this. I'm sorry.
You're okay. But actually, I'm glad you. If anything, if you don't mind, I guess I'll go off so that you can recollect your thoughts. If you want to do that.
Yeah, you go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
Okay.
I'll edit out your rant anyway, so.
Yeah, no problem. Well, me, it's just for me like a lot of people keep bringing up the past, and yes, it's good. It's good to remind people that all these bad things happen, but like, what are you gonna do about it? Are you just gonna keep like complaining? Are you just gonna keep complaining, yelling? Like doing terrible things, like like rioting and like albeit rioting. It gives you like I said, it gives you what's the word? Help me out, guys.
Satisfaction?
Point of view.
No.
Writing gives
But-
you point of view? What?
Writing.
I'm not ever relying on you for grammar help.
Anyway, but like it won't give you the change that you want. It'll just like it'll just add like fuel to the fire more. Like if you want change, do like more change, more like good change, And like yes, we live in like a world in a society. We live in a society.
We live in a society, boys.
Yes, we live in a society where like at the moment, people with like money, they're like shifting things around. But slowly but surely, if enough people keep making the change happen, it will happen. It's just for me personally, like I don't see violence as like an option. Like unless for sure that's the last option you can pick. But if you can continue to like pick like options that doesn't include violence, then that's it. That's what wins us the war, because like, for me personally, like, people will always choose violence because that's like the fastest thing to do. The rioting, definitely got them the attention they wanted. Got them like some changes that they wanted. But like so much people were caught in the crossfire that it was just unnecessary. Like for instance, like there were like these smaller businesses that got like destroyed and got damaged because of it. When like really, really that shouldn't have happened. Like we don't need violence. Yes, you can argue that they forced your hand, but for me, like, cause me, like, I grew up dealing with bullying, and like apparently, like I was like always like if I'll just say this, it got really bad to the point where like I was pushed to the ground, my teeth were grinding on the asphalt. It was terrible, and I was like a little kid, and to this
Oh.
day, I don't understand why he did it, and I'm still concerned for him. I'm still like wondering why. But like for me, like people are asking me like oh, like what would you do if he ever like showed up again? I'm like nothing. I'd probably give him a hug, ask him if he's okay, because like I didn't see the need for violence, but he did. So now I'm wondering why. Why does he need violence? He doesn't need to do that. If he had a problem with me, he could have talked to me. That's the thing. People need to do talking or like just other things, but
Communication.
you don't need to do violence, because once you spill blood, that's just it. There's no turning back from that. So what are you
Yeah.
gonna do then? Because like at the end of the day, people are gonna spill even more blood and more blood and more blood until like it just piles up, or until like it fills up just like an ocean, and you're just stuck in this. And then what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
It's just fucking wild, man.
It really is.
It reminds me of like a quote from one of the political YouTubers I watch, Short Fat Otaku, and it's not an exact one for one quote,
Mhm.
but it kind of touches on this topic. And he said, "America is a shitty country, but things are not so bad that we need dozens of riots going on in the streets where people are burning down businesses and like killing each other. Like things have not gotten that bad yet."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
And me personally, like going through high school, like I genuinely believe that like racism won't be a problem that we'll have. If anything, ignorance will. But like like seeing how like like this is a big public high school. I may be naive, but like seeing everyone being like friends and like also being enemies with each other. Like I genuinely don't believe that racism will be a problem we'll be dealing with it in the future. Or at least in the way future.
Or at least not in a great capacity.
At least
Yeah.
not a great capacity, because like me personally, like all these like whole racist things, it's like it's mostly just the older generation, because
Yeah.
like that's what
Yeah,
they were,
like
that's what they
isolated incidents.
like. Again, like it's I forgot which one of you pointed out, but it's like racism is raised. That's how they were raised to think, and to do. They were like, oh, you're this, you're this, you're this. Do not associate yourself with these people. Just, and that's just unfortunately how it is. But us, our generation, I'm pretty sure that we'll overcome that. We just have to like send out, weed out like the little ones, or hopefully like help them be not ignorant, because at the end of the day, me personally, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere, because at the end of the day, like racism, it derives from hate, and we as human beings, well, we're hateful, but we're also loving. So at the end of the day, that's like an aspect that's never gonna go away, in my opinion.
Man, we we got a long ways off from the 16 seconds of this PSA.
Oh my gosh, I know, right?
Oh my god.
That's how bad this PS. Turned out this one was the worst out of all of them.
Oh yeah, because the rest
Hold on.
of them we were able to get through like fairly quickly, but this one,
Can we
this
just go?
one had all the issues.
They just
Can we
yeeted
just go back to
everything.
this?
Oh
Hold on.
my gosh.
We need to recreate that in real life.
Just ha!
Just Alex the Critic and Spaceman like about to get married, and me just like kicking down the chapel doors, working my way up the altar. Ha!
Oh my gosh.
You can't get married. He's French Italian, and you're not.
He's a dirty communist.
He's a dirty communist. Oh man. Anyway, Spaceman, have you recollected your thoughts?
I tried looking for the whole entire thing. I couldn't find it, so I guess it's better we just move on.
Okay, we'll move on. All right, boys, let's get back into this.
It's Garnet from Steven Universe.
Kids, don't be racist.
Okay, people, we just need to get coverage. We'll start again in 5.
This is the cheesiest job I've ever done.
I love that. Just don't.
You could have ended the PSA there.
To be honest.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, like I am so mad because like Garnet's character is more than just that, Like she's meant to be the embodiment of like love and everything, But like just straight up, just give her that. I'm like, bro, come on, you could give her even more. Obviously they are, but it's probably not gonna be good.
Yeah, it's definitely not gonna be good. Like it's already going downhill.
they already screwed up with Amethyst and Pearl. Let's get back into it.
Stuff like this doesn't actually happen in real life. Whoa there.
Are you kidding? It totally does.
Just because this has never happened to you doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Seriously, I didn't
Can we
know.
pause it? I think they're not fucking understanding what the kid's saying. He's saying that the specific thing that happens in a PSA doesn't actually happen in real life.
Yeah.
Not that
Exactly.
nobody's ever racist. That's not his
Exactly.
point.
I don't.
Yeah, the idea, the kid's literally like, look, the idea of like, two kids are like, let's get married in the future, and another kid comes in, aha! He's like, that doesn't happen, everyone else just takes it like, oh no, racism is real. It's like, that's not what I was talking about. Oh
Jesus
my gosh.
Christ. This makes me want to shoot myself. If that's it, we'll get back into it.
Yeah.
Everyone messes up sometimes. But you gotta realize it hurts to deal with racism. And when people act like it's not real, it makes it feel even worse.
You have to acknowledge
That's not what he's
racism to
saying,
work
though.
against it.
You're right. I can do that.
You kids better work on this before the wedding.
Whoa, that's just
We're
for the
just
script.
we only just met today.
I ship it,
What?
but hold on, let's see what the sticker is.
That's literally the opposite of what happened.
That was the worst video that I saw out of all of them.
Don't say that. Yeah, we have one more, Spaceman.
Oh, we still have one more?
True.
Yeah,
Oh
one more.
no!
We're in for a lot then.
Oh man,
Jesus.
I gotta say, from all of them, this one was the worst.
Let's think about this. The message we're seeing right now is literally the exact opposite of what happened in this PSA. Because the kid wasn't denying anything. He was saying that what happens in the PSA doesn't happen in real life.
Yeah.
Not that no one's racist. Like, I know I just said that, but like that's the point. That's the whole criticism here. The PSA is self-defeating.
The rest of the PSA has nothing. They adds nothing to what the beginning of it did. Like the beginning of it was ridiculous, but the last half of it literally added nothing.
And again, I just don't understand why they're framing it as this whole like, oh, we're filming cheesy PSAs like that. Like you could do an entire college course on how not to write a PSA or like an educational work. And this would be like the poster child for that. Like every wrong thing that you could do is in these PSAs.
Yep. Oh man, let's go to the next.
Hold on. Before we do that.
Hey, when we're older, let's get married.
Ha!
Oh my god.
I'm so glad that became a meme.
Oh man, that is hilariously perfect and funny. But my god, the whole thing is bad itself.
I just love that. I now want this to be like a meme structure where like this either kid is a game and the other one is like, hey, let's not be buggy. Bethesda comes in, ha!
This could have worked if this was a legitimate parody of cheesy PSA, but that's not what they're going for. So it doesn't.
That's not what they're going for. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh
Hey there, guitar heads. Just dropped my
no!
friends off for a gig. For today's lesson.
Cheese it, Greg. Let's get out of here. Oh, why did we do this?
What? The anti-racism shorts?
We're not human, so who are we to speak for human people of color?
Well, yeah, you can't do that, but you can.
Thank you, because isn't that what we literally said?
Yeah,
or like one of us said.
What he said earlier. They're from a whole entire species of
You're
genocide.
allies.
Allies?
Explain.
Well, anyone can be anti-racist. It can't only be up to marginalized people to speak out. That would be totally unfair. Besides, the camera loves you guys.
Yes, my performance was flawless. But I see possible futures where we've made humans uncomfortable.
And this has nothing to do with us.
But it does. I used to think racism wasn't my
Okay,
problem
can we
because
pause it?
wasn't...
Because I just thought of something. Because he says like you don't have to be like black. Because that's the analogy he's trying to make. Like you don't have to be
Essentially.
black to speak on black issues. But like, can we again? The crystal gems have been on Earth for hundreds of years. They were around when slavery and the Holocaust and the Indian genocides happened, and they did nothing.
And they did nothing.
So no, they cannot speak on race issues. Because as far as I'm concerned, they have just as much responsibility for those events
Yeah.
as the people who perpetrated them.
Also,
So, no, they cannot be allies.
Also, I'm pretty sure that this one was made as like a response to like how badly the other ones were, because this one came out April 12 of this year. The other ones October 27 last year, December 3 last year.
Oh my god.
Where's the other? I lost the other one, but I'm pretty sure that was also like last year. So Garda's saying I've seen possible futures where we make everyone uncomfortable. I'm like, no, this is happening now.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm pretty sure now it's like this is like them trying to fix it, and as with how the last three have gone, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna end well.
Yeah.
hurting me. But every time I didn't fight it, I let systemic racism continue. And sure, talking about this stuff means you might mess up. But you can learn and you can care. And I know you care. You're the crystal gems.
But how are these shorts gonna fix anything?
Well, being
Alright,
an
can you
ally
pause
is
it?
bigger than just one gig.
I want you to check if the comment section has been turned off.
Probably has, yeah.
Yeah. I bet they turn it off immediately.
Well,
Probably did.
let's check.
It is.
All right. So Greg's whole point about, it's okay to speak because sometimes we'll mess up and that's okay. We need to learn from it. Fuck you. The comment section from all of these videos has been turned off.
Yeah, you
did
don't
not
want
give
people to
people
speak about it.
Yeah, you won't let people speak up about the issues with your PSAs. So this entire message is completely tone deaf.
Yeah, I just wanted to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Also, the one with
It's
Amethyst,
hypocritical.
it was February 16th. So yeah, this one was definitely made as a response or retort.
Oh my god.
But let's
It's about seeing your place in the problem. If you speak up, maybe people will follow your lead and be able to change the whole racist system. Maybe these shorts can't make a difference, but allies can.
Yes, there are so many futures where systems change.
See, we should have made a short about allyship.
Greg, let's use this video as one of the shorts.
What, me? But I'm just Guitar Dad. I wasn't trying to... Okay, fine. But I want a producer credit.
so
That was a mess. Not as bad as the previous one, but
it's still a mess either way. It's more tame compared to the other ones.
It's just the problems is that it's hypocritical more than
definitely
anything.
it is very
Yeah.
hypocritical. They're saying all this stuff and yet they don't act like this stuff, and it's just like,
And
ugh.
and Greg was like, speak out and everything, and he's like, I don't want this video to be published. I'm like, what?
I was gonna point that out too, because they're like, why don't you be part of our like anti-racism like campaign? And he's like, oh, but I'm just Guitar Dad, and I'm like, you were literally lecturing them.
You
about this
literally
stuff.
Yeah.
You literally said that you don't even have to like as long as you just like speak out about it. And I'm like, yes, this is literally you. You're speaking out right now.
Oh my
Jeez.
gosh.
I don't even know where to begin, quite frankly.
Man, I swear, watch them do another one with Steven, and it's just down. It's just gone. I feel like if Cartoon Network is smart enough, they wouldn't do one with Steven. Because like this is it. This is it. This is the last one.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Because these ones are like see color, tell the whole story, don't deny it. This one's like be an ally. Like what else can they do? Then you see Steven just like writing.
Fight the system.
Fight the system.
Oh my gosh.
What's that like Antifa slogan? No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
Yeah.
And I'm over here like I don't think you understand how justice works,
I feel like this video was the most disappointing out of all of them. The previous one was just a mess.
to be honest. Speaking of justice, that reminds me of like a thought I had because essentially I had a philosophy professor, and I know, yeah, he took philosophy and whatnot, but like he made some good points where like how people like see justice, they see it how like it's righting their world, but not the world, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I like because like that is for me that is what justice is. It's righting the world, not just your world, not just making your world right, but everyone's world right, the entire world, because it's not just you, it's everyone else. Which is why it kind of does irritate me sometimes whenever people like they would bring up like, oh, slavery, or all like we want something done about slavery. It's like, what else do you want to be done? Like, would you also like to like put like other races in slavery? Like, if anything, that would like just fuel the fire even more, and that would like you would lose your purpose after that, and that's not bringing justice to the world at all.
Yeah, it
Like, bring
reminds me of there's like the Native Americans in Canada are called the First Nations, and during Canada's 150th year like celebrations, they held like a protest over how they had been treated by the Canadian government.
hmm
And one of like their many like demands for like justice was to get all of Canada back. And again, I mentioned him earlier before, but Short Fat Otaku did another video about this because he's actually Canadian and he knows a lot about Canadian history. And he made his response to the Native Americans who were protesting was that what happened to them back then was terrible and awful, and it was really fucked up. But unfortunately, the truth of the matter is we're here now, like white people are here
exactly.
now.
Yeah.
Like we exist in this society. And for the what we would have to do in order to meet these demands is basically force everyone to go back to whatever countries they came from, which would be a massive like human rights violation.
Yeah.
Like you can't just uproot people from their homes to make up for some wrong that happened hundreds of years ago.
And though the people who's like being forced out were born in said area, most likely. So
Yeah, they had nothing to do with it.
yeah.
Exactly. So then you're gonna be out here like punishing punishing the younger generations for the older generation's mistakes.
Yeah. And then like even if it does succeed and then they do have Canada, what are they gonna do? Was like just continue the day like as if it was normal? Because you basically
Yeah.
kicked out majority of your population.
And let's not forget, for all of the terrible things that European settlers did to Native Americans, they also did a lot of really good things. Like they raised the level of technology and the standard of living.
They've also introduced like the crops, like different crops and everything, like different like foods and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm pretty sure that most Native Americans like living in a world with electricity and like television and social media
And
and
cars.
and cars and all that. Like I'm pretty sure they like living with those conveniences.
Yeah.
Again, it's just it goes back to the whole like what more do people want? Like what is the solution that they're trying to advocate for?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it just seems so contradictory.
Like, wouldn't you
Like
say then that it's just its own racism, where it's like everyone who is not my people must leave? That's racism of its own.
Exactly.
yeah, it's dare I say reverse racism, which I know doesn't really make sense because
But
racism is just racism.
It's just racism, but
Yeah.
in a sense, it's still its own thing. Like it's kind of sad to see because like especially like like white people hating white people now, and black people hating black people. Believe it or not, that's a thing that happens. Or Spanish people hating Spanish people, or Asian people hating Asian people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know like. Well, whenever I would joke around about how like, oh, I hate the Chinese. I mean, like part of that is kind of true because the Chinese are like when I say the Chinese, I mean like the Chinese government or
Yeah,
scummy
that's the thing
Chinese.
too, because a lot of times it's the governments that we should
It's
really
it's
be
the
thinking about.
governments that we should all hate. It's
Yeah.
not
Because
it's,
it's not like every Chinese person who lives in China is okay with what the government's doing.
Yeah.
exactly. It's the government. But unfortunately, they made it out to be like, oh, like the citizens are okay with it, but because they made it to like they have a secret police.
Yeah.
So like yeah, of course they would make it to where the citizens would. Oh, I just did quotation marks that I'm like, damn it, how am I gonna express this? Air quotes, okay with it.
So,
Yeah.
final thoughts, guys, on these PSAs.
Oh my gosh. They're all
Like-
they're all just
How
not
how
needed.
can we like bookmark this conversation? Like, what's like the slogan that we can all get behind?
That should have never been made.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Cartoon Network, you fucked up
Again.
again. Yeah. This
to
is
be
not the
honest.
first time.
And then me over here like Rebecca Sugar, why did you let them do this to you?
You
Because
know,
like
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she was okay with this, because she is a pretty big lefty. So
that
this
is
seems like something she
true.
would do.
That is true, yeah. Because then again, there's also a problem too. Because at the end of the day, this also instill politics into it. And the problem with politics is that like people see it as like, oh, you're either left or you're either right. When like no, there's like several different groups. But unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's just brought out to be that way, to where left or right. And my government professor, he used to be a city manager for the city of Converse actually, and
Ooh.
yeah, and he told me several different stories. And me, I personally believe he's a good government chap. Like if he wanted to run for president, I would vote for him, because like one of the stories he used to tell was there's like something wrong with the economy or something, and like he had to pay his workers for working on the road, and at the time he wasn't able to, or like the government wasn't able to, the city government, so he had to go into his own savings so that he could pay those workers himself. And I'm like, that is something that we need, someone like that, where like he's willing to like make that sacrifice, just
Good-hearted
for
leaders.
like at the end of the day, like he cares for the people, not just his own people, but the people,
Yeah.
And where was I going with this? Right, he was saying how like the problem with like the leftists and the rights is that like in today's world, the Democrats are extreme like liberal, where they're like, oh, we want absolute change. Like he even wrote down where it's like, we want to see this ship turn to a spaceship. We're gonna keep pushing for that. Like no matter what gets in our way. And then he's like, but the Republicans, they're like extreme conservatives, where they're like, no, we should stay with the boat. And in fact, instead of the boat, it was like a big boat. Let's instead go back to how it was, with like a smaller boat, like a raft, and just stay that way, And like ultimately, that's like this instills that, where it's like change, but then they're like, make it a big change, like make it a big one. When like me personally, you always have to start out smaller.
Incremental change, as they say.
Yes.
Yeah, incremental change. Because like for me, these PSAs could have done that. They could have been the small change, because this was definitely meant for children. So like they could have like directed it better, to where like you instill this idea into kids where it's like racism not a thing, or to just not make the PSAs in general, but still like
Yeah.
because it always starts off with the kids. The kids are the future. How they are shaped is how they will shape the future. It's a Asian quote I've been working on. But yes,
I'm
how
gonna
they are
steal
shaped is
that
how they
quote.
shape. How dare you?
That's gonna be in my review, and I'm gonna act like I came up with it.
God damn it! Well, jokes on you. I'll have this unedited version, and I'm gonna publicize it and be like,
Oh no, he's
he
gonna
was.
expose me.
I'm gonna expose you and be like, I caught him at 1080p.
He's gonna drop a content cop on me.
Exactly. But yeah, like they could have just done this in a better direction, because it seemed like the direction they were going for was like the adult direction towards kids, when that's not how it should be. That's also like a problem that like I don't like,
Yeah,
especially with like society, with today's society, is that they want kids to grow up so fast, when like no, they're children. Let them enjoy them being kids.
yeah.
It's like, yes, it's good to be mindful, but that shouldn't be their primary objective. Their primary objective should be enjoying their childhood. Because if you have a kid doing this his entire childhood, that's what he's gonna be going for, and he'll ultimately end up like a racist himself, like worst case scenario, which is usually that.
Yeah, that's another thing I didn't like consider. Like, let kids be kids.
Exactly.
We
Because at
don't
the
need to
end,
push all of this like political stuff on them.
because at the end of the day, this also adds fuel to the fire, more hate. A kid will see this and he goes, I'm gonna racist. I'm gonna be mean to them.
I'm going to become a social justice person, and then
I'm gonna
I'm going
become
to enforce all that stuff.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
become a
I'm gonna
racist
see
towards the
color.
racist. I'm gonna see color. Fuck you.
It's what they wrote. I can't be held responsible for it. Would you be comfortable calling these PSAs propaganda?
They are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
are.
that they meet the definition, because
That's what they basically
definitely
are.
trying to push a certain ideology.
Or agenda, yeah.
And like that brings up another thing too, because like at the end of the day, people want peace, but like, what would you define peace? Because like it's something I forgot what his name. Somebody he brought it up, where it's like there's like a theory of peace, where like you see peace as like, oh yeah, like in the superhero movies, where like they save the world and that's it. There we go. They brought peace in the world. When really, like, he says like how peace is like it's like ending like world hunger, ending like discovering cure for cancer, like discovering like a stable economy. No more hate. For him, that's like what peace is, and I believe in that. That's what peace really is. And this, it just adds on to the fire of hate. It doesn't bring peace.
Yeah, it just more divides people.
Yeah, it just divides people even more.
It's just like it's dumb.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any better way to like phrase it.
I agree with you. It's definitely.
I agree. Yeah, and I'm just a bit sad too that they use the crystal gems for this,
Yeah,
because
it could have been anything. It literally could have been anything, and they
because
went with them.
for me it tarnishes their image, because like they're meant to be like peace. They want to be peacekeepers or peace bringers, But this is just them adding more fuel to the fire. And it's sad,
Well, that's Cartoon Network for you.
to be
Yep.
honest.
Going downhill since I want to say 2018.
I believe
I don't know.
so.
When did Teen Titans Go come out?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say like, when was Teen Titans Go?
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's
Ever since that show came out,
Ever since that show.
Mhm.
It was released 2013.
All right, so
So-
since 2013, it's just been all downhill.
No, it's just the world ended in 2012. I don't care.
The simulation is trapped in 2012.
Yeah, we're just in the we're in the slow process of it. Someone decided to someone was like, how would you want it? Slow or quick? I'd rather choose slow, and that's what's been going on.
It's like the simulation was running on Windows 7 in 2012, and then in 2013 they upgraded to Windows 10, and everything's been fucked since then.
They just don't want to update their computer. They refuse to update.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess
We'll end it off here.
Here.
Awesome.
This has been another really kind of down to earth and insightful episode of Close the Tab. I've been your host, Alex the Critic, joined here today by my co-host Travis.
Don't be a racist. Also, if you're gonna cancel us, make sure to do it properly.
Go after Spaceman.
Yeah, go after Spaceman.
Oh, that's perfect.
And on that note, I think we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month, maybe a year, maybe a decade.
Who knows?
Maybe we'll never do another.
Maybe we'll never do another episode. Yeah, I don't even think anyone's watching at this point.
We may or may not die in the next 2 weeks.
We'll see if the
To be
apocalypse get us
honest.
first.
Alrighty.
All right, bye.